is Tasha M. Troy of Bridges of Communication Training and Coaching. I love Thanksgiving weekend. It is one of my favorite times of the year. Not because I get to be with family. I typically don't get to travel to visit family. It's a short weekend for traveling as far as I usually have to travel. So I end up spending a lot of time alone on Thanksgiving weekend. Now, if you're an extrovert, that sounds like torture, but as an introvert, it's a refreshing time for me to sit back, do some reading, do some writing, do some reflecting on the direction my life is going and where I want it to go, where I think it should go. This week, in my blog, I'm writing about identifying your purpose, something that I'm really passionate about. And it seems to me that not everyone sees the path of their life. This weekend, I got a hold of Jeff Goins' book, The Art of Work, which, to be honest, I've had this book on my shelf for several months. And this is what I do. You can see I got lots and lots of books. No, I have not read them all. Someday, perhaps I will read many of them. I have read a lot of them, but I haven't read all of them. I like to keep them on my shelf because you never know when you're going to need to read a book. In his book, he talks about listening to your life and being aware of the path that your life is on. This really lines up well with a lot of what I've written about in my blog. A few times I've talked about identifying your shape, a term that I've taken from Rick Warren's book, The Purpose-Driven Life. It's right over here. Anyway, shape, your spiritual gifts, heart, abilities, personality, and experiences. These 5 elements will point you in the direction of your purpose, your unique purpose here on earth. I think what Jeff Goins is talking about here in the first chapter of his book, The Art of Work, is really along the same lines. It's one thing to say, okay, I know what my personality is. It's another to say, okay, my personality plus my experiences plus my gifting here and my abilities there, they're all pointing me in a certain direction. Where have I been and where am I going? If you're not paying attention, you'll miss it. And to be honest, it seems like most people are not paying attention. Most people are just living life on response mode. I also was one of those people for a long, long time. Less proactive in designing the life that I want, more reactive in just following the opportunities and what the open doors and seeing what happened. I feel like I'm very fortunate because that method did take me to a really good place, a place where I found my own niche. But today I am no longer just going with the flow. Yes, I'm still pursuing opportunities as they present themselves, but I'm much more selective about those opportunities. I often say if you are not intentional in setting your priorities and determining your daily agenda, the urgent will displace the important. It's said that if you don't set your own agenda, other people will set one for you. There's a lot of talk about saying no to the good so you can say yes to the great. If you don't know what your great is, you'll have a hard time saying no to even the mediocre. This is one thing I found, is people will always have something for you to do. Your boss, your friends, your church leaders, your spouse, your family. So many people have something else for you to do. They have plans for you. The only plans that will really bring you extravagant fulfillment are the plans God has for you. If you're not sure how to find them, start by looking at your shape. Start by identifying this path. An exercise that I got from Lance Wallnau and recently shared with a group of people was doing an examination of my own experiences. You can do this as well. Take a few minutes, write down the first 5 things that come to mind. So the most memorable events in your life related to your family. Jot it down. The first 5 things that come to mind when you think about your education. These can be positive or negative, right? But the first 5 things that come to mind. That family, education, friendships, work, and spiritual life. For each of these categories, write down the first 5 things that come to mind. The first things that come to mind will have the strongest emotional attachment. And those are the things that are going to impact your life the greatest. Right, so if you've got your 5 for each category, the next thing you do, put them on a timeline. What I did was I made a timeline with the positive events above the timeline, the negative events beneath the timeline, because I like to color code things. I used green for my career events. I used blue for spiritual events. I think I used orange for family, red for relationships. You don't have to color code, but I did. Then you look for threads of commonality. What do all of these events, these really strong memories, have in common? Now you combine that with your skills and your talents. You compare that to the passion that you have, what motivates you. Take that and look at your spiritual gifts. How are you equipped to engage with other people, to help and support them? These things are going to help point you in the direction of your purpose. One step at a time. If you are looking for someone to help you find that path, I would love to talk with you. Please connect with me and we will set up a time to have an exploratory coaching session. Thanks for watching. This has been Bridges of Communication with Tasha M. Troy. Talk to you soon. Bye.